What's up, everybody? Zach Bruner here from FlurrySports, and let's build a championship-winning team drafting around Jamar Chase at the first overall draft pick this year. Yes, so we are building a championship-winning team around Jamar Chase, first overall draft pick, 12-team PPR. We'll get to that over on Sleeper Fantasy, doing a mock draft there in a second. I would say the first 8, 9 picks, I think, are pretty solid in terms of what you can expect. Obviously, there's variance in every single draft, but obviously, we're doing auto pick with the other 11 teams. We'll start to see some defenses, some kickers. If you're drafting your family league, your work league, your office pool, whatever it may be, you may see something similar to this because people are going to be drafting close to the ADP, right? However, if you're drafting with people who normally play fantasy football, yes, it's going to get a little weird around 9, 10, but we'll talk through it. We'll figure it out. But this is the first one of the series, okay? So we have 12. 1 through 12, we will build a championship winning team around all 12 players. This is the only one here on the Flurry Sports channel. So for number 2 through 12, go to the channel linked below. It's Fantasy Football by Committee. This is something, obviously, we've had the show Fantasy Football by Committee for the past couple of years. Now, you will still see all of the live streams right here on the Flurry Sports YouTube channel. So subscribe, hang out, and we will be going live for sure Thursday nights, probably Tuesday nights. Wednesday nights, we have Lombardi Sweep, which is the Packers show, and we want to do other shows as well. And you'll still get some other videos here. But a lot of fantasy videos from those live streams will be going over on the Fantasy Football by Committee page. So I would love it if you go and subscribe over there and go and get my draft kit. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but you can scan the QR code or go to buymeacoffee.com/ZachBruner to get this 32-page draft kit. If you become a member, it's free. And you get access to a group chat with me and other members. You get the data files, which are sortable. That's super important. And there's all kinds of good stuff in there, including my award-winning rankings. I was top 10 in draft rankings last year, top 10 in season, top 5 running back, top 5 wide receiver. Let me know if that's good. I'm not sure. Hundreds of experts. And according to Fantasy Pros, I was top 5 in those 2 categories, top 10 for in-season overall, top 10 for draft. So if you want good rankings for cheap, definitely scan the QR code. Go to the link in the description. I cannot talk because my mind is set on this draft and set on the fantasy draft kit. So go and get that. New updates coming to the rankings and everything over there very soon, possibly as soon as today as you see this. So let's not talk anymore. Let's go and build a team. Setting this up, obviously, we are going to be the first pick. Let's just take a look at the settings here. We want PPR, 12 teams. That is all good. We're not doing third round reversal or anything. What we will do, I think this is what how most people set up their league. 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, and a flex. I think the default when you first go into the mock draft is 2-2-2. But we're going to go 3 wide receivers and 1 flex. Now, if you have 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, obviously running backs, I think pump up in value a little bit with that 3rd wide receiver spot. I can't just sit on wide receiver after drafting Jamar Chase. So one thing that I think you will notice in this mock draft more likely than not is that quarterbacks will go a lot earlier than normal. Now, how do I get that back up? Did I just mess up completely? There we go. Okay, so one thing you might notice is quarterbacks go a lot earlier. One quarterback I do like to target quite a bit is Dak Prescott. I think we could get Dak Prescott at 10-12 in a normal league. I think in this mock draft, somebody will take Dak Prescott as their second quarterback before then. So we may be reaching for a quarterback around 6, around round 6. In a real draft, I may not do that. I may be willing to wait until somebody falls into my lap and then get a little bit more aggressive around round 8, 9. That's probably what I do. However, for this, we're just going to try to build the best team as if this is a real draft. So we'll probably target a quarterback around 6 unless somebody falls into our lap before that. And then also, we're drafting at 1, right? So we are at the very end in a 12-team league. So in terms of just draft strategy, I prefer to be around the middle just so I can get a feel for the draft. I can figure out who I want to draft early or late. I can get a feel where people are going. I can potentially strategize and start runs or just zig when other people zag. I think I build better teams around the middle of the draft. However, if we are on the end, 1, 2, 11, 12, something like that, you have to be willing to reach. It kind of stinks. You kind of feels like you're a little bit more pressured into a pick sometimes. So just so we know, we may have to reach in terms of getting a position that we want. Overall, I'm still going to be a best player available type of guy, but let's take a look. Obviously, we're going to start with Jamar Chase coming back around at 212. My thought is that we're going to get at least one running back. We can't leave the turn without at least one running back. And I kind of like going 2 running backs here, depending on who's available. I'm not afraid to grab a wide receiver. I'm probably not grabbing a quarterback. Looks like there's going to be a quarterback. Oh, not available. Okay. So now I think Jonathan Taylor is a no-brainer pick. So we're going to go him at 212. Now this is where things get a little bit tricky. I know there's Kyren Williams haters. I, for one, love him as a player. I think they could use him even more. So I'm not afraid of going him. I'm afraid of going Tyreek Hill as a wide receiver too, just because Miami has implosion written all over it. And like, will he get traded? Will he not get traded? I don't know. So I'm probably going to avoid Tyreek. I'm not a Chase Brown guy, so I'm probably avoiding him. And that's just one of those. I don't draft him. I just don't believe in the talent enough. Will he have a decent amount of fantasy points while he's healthy? Probably. Um, but I'm probably going to avoid him. Trey McBride's a stud. Do we go a legit stud at wide receiver, running back, and then tight end? Potentially coming back around. I don't love the running back situation when we come back. I don't love trusting that James Conner is going to fall to us. You know what I mean? Whereas I think Laporta could fall to us. We could get another good tight end later. Who cares? So I am going to go Kyren Williams at number 2. He should see a ton of work. And yes, I'm not trusting him as a running back 1. But as a running back 2, I think you could do a lot worse than Kyren Williams. I think you're good to go. He's consistent. The Rams offense is going to be good. They're going to run the ball quite a bit while they're in the red zone as well. So I'd love everything about Kyren Williams, and I'm not afraid of his role. Okay, so now we are back at the turn here. 4 and 5. Chuba Hubbard's there. Sam Laporta's there. And then we also have Rashee Rice, who's probably suspended between 6 and 8 games in the middle of the year. I hate that, including week 10 bye. So he's probably going to be out 7 to 9 weeks then, including that bye, which is terrible. So we are going to avoid Rashee Rice. If he ends up not getting suspended this year somehow, he's going to be a great value, but I can't imagine he avoids suspension. I think we have to go, in terms of best available, who's going to give us the most points on average? It's probably Chuba or DJ Moore minus Rashee. I think Rashee, obviously, on a per game basis is better, but probably not going to get him. Do we go Sam Laporta at tight end as well? Or do we wait and potentially grab an Ingram, somebody like that later? With Tesla, whatever, popping up in Detroit, I just don't love another pass catcher. You know what I mean? Laporta's probably good. He's probably fine. It's a little scary. It's a little scary. Now, if this was a 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex, I am potentially, I'm a no-brainer going Chuba and then maybe going Laporta, but I do feel like I need to get a wide receiver here. So it doesn't matter if I take him 4 or 5, right? So I'm going to take DJ Moore as my wide receiver 2. Now, do I go running back or do I go tight end? It's a real debacle, a real conversation for me. Chuba was good in an offense that wasn't great last year. So if the offense gets better, which I feel like it will, and he should be in scoring position more often, more touchdown upside, I think I like Chuba Hubbard. Um, the potential for a running back after this, we got Tony Pollard, who I don't mind. Quinshon Judkins is a roll of the dice. Caleb Johnson's a roll of the dice. Yeah, I think we got to go Chuba. We're going to take a legit running back 3 for us who can very, week to week is a good flex. So our team so far, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, Chuba Hubbard. I like that. Now, coming back around, I think we're going to go quarterback rather, because of the way this draft usually goes. Unless Bo Nix isn't there. Okay. So we will go Bo Nix. I feel fine about that. And honestly, I almost wish we went tight end or wide receiver because I do like DeAndre Swift quite a bit. Do we take a player who's not in my starting lineup just because I think he's best available? I don't hate that. And then I feel like we have good players to trade if we want to go that route. So I don't hate going DeAndre Swift. However, I'm a pretty big Evan Engram fan as well. I like David Njoku. I like Tyler Warren. Will all three of them be taken before it comes back to me? Because I would be more than happy to start any of those three. But after those three, it gets iffy. I mean, we got Loveland, Kincaid, Pitts. I don't know if I want to risk it. So do we go tight end instead of a wide receiver? Because I don't mind Jerry Jeudy as a wide receiver 3. Yeah, 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 yeah. We will go Evan Engram here. Good pass catcher, should catch a lot of passes. If you are a person who puts any value into a stack in terms of season long leagues, I'm not one of those people. But we have that Bo Nix, Evan Engram stack. Tyler Warren went very early in the 8th round, so I do think we made the right decision there. I was hoping Chris Godwin would fall, so that kind of stinks. But Ricky Pearsall's great. He should see a ton of targets. He is our wide receiver 3. In a PPR especially, I love it. That's good. Now we are pretty balanced. I feel like we're free to do whatever we want to do. With that being said, does anybody have any faith in Travis Etienne to do anything this year? If he's bad, doesn't surprise me. If he's good, doesn't surprise me. If he's mid, doesn't surprise me. I think the chances of him being a start-worthy player on a week-by-week basis is relatively low, though. So I think we'll avoid him. I love Charbonnet. I love J.K. Dobbins. Javonte Williams is very interesting, high upside. If I want to cheat the system a little bit, I know the computers here in Auto Draft are going to start taking some defenses. So we could build a very good team regardless. But I'm going to draft as if, you know, thinking they're going to draft how my opponents normally draft. So I think we can get some running backs pretty damn deep. However, I mean, there's very few players who I love getting more than Zach Charbonnet. He's just one of the absolute best handcuffs to have. Like the trade bait, or when Kenneth Walker gets hurt, or whatever it may be, Zach Charbonnet is going to be very relevant at some point this season. And as my running back 4, I can just keep him there and be fine. And I think he has a week by week role as well. So I'm not nervous about that. Honestly, wouldn't have been extremely upset having Jake Ferguson as my starting tight end either, just so you know. Dallas Goedert as well. He's not terrible. So I'm going to go. We could go a couple young receivers and hope one of them breaks out. And or I could go backup tight end with Ferguson, Kincaid, blah blah blah. But I am going to go that wide receiver route. I think one of these guys has a chance to have a very good season. So we'll go Higgins as the wide receiver 2 in Houston, and Keon Coleman, who I guess is the wide receiver 1 in Buffalo, right? He is that starting X. Obviously, we have Khalil Shakir soaking up targets underneath once he's healthy. But they need Keon Coleman to take big steps forward. So, as our wide receiver 5, cool. Let's see if he can do it. Now, we don't need to go wide receiver. We don't need to go running back. We don't need to do a gosh darn thing. That's a great point in the draft where we are very free to do anything we want to do. Do we take a couple of handcuffs? Do we take a decent backup guy? If you really value your defense and don't want to think about it, maybe you take a defense early at this point. I would not draft a kicker. I don't draft a kicker, period, in most of my leagues, just because I would rather have a handcuff, somebody who could skyrocket if the starter gets hurt prior to week 1. And then right before week 1, drop that guy. It doesn't matter if their value didn't skyrocket, and then pick up your kicker and stream them. That's what I normally do. So in this draft, we will do the same and not draft a kicker. We could draft Justin Fields as an interesting backup quarterback. We won't do that. We'll go Najee. Never know if Amari and Hampton will break down early. And then I don't mind Braylon Allen or Trey Benson here. But I'll go Dallas Goedert as a very solid backup tight end. Very solid. So in terms of roster construction, we got what? 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs. We have 5 wide receivers and 2 tight ends, 1 quarterback. Pretty balanced. I wouldn't mind getting 1 more wide receiver. And then, by the end of the season or start of week 1, you'd want a quarterback and a defense. I'll draft a defense. I won't draft a quarterback here. Wide receivers, I like Dante Thornton as an interesting upside play. Same with Cedric Tillman. Same with Wan'Dale Robinson. I like all of them. Wan'Dale Robinson's especially intriguing opposite of Neighbors. And Robinson's been playing some outside receiver as well this camp. So he can play in the outside. He can play in the slot. Means he has an every down role. I like him quite a bit. Will Xavier Legette increase his value? At the moment, it doesn't sound bad to take an Ollie Gordon as well with the injuries in that backfield in Miami. Let's take a backup quarterback just because whatever. By week 12 for Bo Nix. So let's go with, again, an upside play would be Stafford. So I'll take him last. We don't need to take him now. Let's go with Ray Davis. And let's go with Cedric Tillman, who was great with Jameis for a hot second last year before he got hurt. With Joe Flacco there now, he could absolutely pick up where he left off. We don't know. Isaiah Bond could pick up that spot as well at some point, but they like not Charles Tillman. They like Cedric Tillman. They like him quite a bit. Okay, defense. Out of these picks, who does Seattle play week 1? San Francisco. So we're probably going to go to the Patriots. Who the Rams got? Houston. Okay, we're going to go to the Patriots. Patriots have a decent matchup, the Raiders. So Patriots for week 1. If I was going a kicker, I would probably go, again, my rankings are all in the draft kit. Fairbairn, I believe, would be the top guy there. Instead, I would draft Woody Marks because we already know Joe Mixon's out. Would it surprise anybody if Nick Chubb gets hurt? No. Woody Marks could trip and fall his way into the wide receiver or running back one job for the Houston Texans week 1. Never know. And by the way, if he doesn't, oh, okay, fine. Then I drop Woody Marks and I pick up a kicker. It doesn't matter. That's the strategy I think you should take, unless you get a Brandon Aubrey in a good value, or potentially a Dicker, something like that. But drafting from the first overall draft spot, 12-team PPR, we have Bo Nix, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, Ricky Pearsall. Miss me some Ricky Williams. Evan Engram at tight end, Chuba Hubbard at flex, Patriots defense, and then this bench has so much upside. We got Charbonnet, Higgins, Coleman, Harris, Goddard, Ray Davis, Cedric Tillman, Woody Marks. Pretty much all of these guys have standalone value on my bench, right? They have standalone value in an every week role. However, they have the potential to absolutely skyrocket. Whether that be to start for me or to trade for somebody better. Zach Charbonnet is one of the most valuable handcuffs in fantasy, if not the most valuable, minus David Montgomery, if you consider him a handcuff. Little cheating. But we know Kenneth Walker is going to get hurt. We know this run game is going to be really good, and we know what Zach Charbonnet can do without him. Jaden Higgins, I think, is the very clear wide receiver 2 in Houston. We know Nico Collins struggled to stay healthy last year. If that's the case, Higgins could be the wide receiver 1 at some point. Keon Coleman, will he skyrocket to what the Bills need him to be? We'll see. Harris obviously is part of a split. Ray Davis is part of a split. Cedric Tillman was outstanding for a little bit as wide receiver 2. And Woody Marks is part of a even split with a veteran injury-prone running back ahead of him. So this is how you draft a championship-winning team. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight in terms of how I like to do things. And you know what? I just realized my camera was in the wrong spot the entire time. I apologize. My bad. However, you get the point. I talked through it pretty well. I think I explained myself. But yeah, this is the team. This is the squad. Nix, Taylor, Williams, Chase, Moore, Pearsall, Engram, Hubbard, Patriots, Charbonnet, the bench of Charbonnet, Higgins, Coleman, Harris, Goddard, Ray Davis, Cedric Tillman, Woody Marks. Now you got the ADP as well, or not the ADP, but where I actually drafted them. But there you go. My apologies for the camera in front of it. Not my intention. But again, number 2 through 12, and I've already drafted number 2, and I can tell you, the camera's in the right place for that one. That's one to definitely watch where we draft. Bijan Robinson, number 2 overall, and build a championship team. Let me know if you drafted Jamar Chase at any point this season, and let me know who you're targeting with your first round pick this year. And subscribe to here, FlurrySports. Subscribe over at Fantasy Football by Committee, where the rest of those videos will be. And I'll see you very, very soon. By the way, number 2 already out over there on Fantasy Football by Committee. Go watch it. See you.